себя... Вот, теперь слышу. Слышу, я не знаю откуда. С мониторов в портал сейчас ничего не идет? Можете мне в уши дать и в порталы отключить, чтобы на время я... Спасибо. Эй, эй. Так, давай чуть-чуть пониже. Вот это можно... Барколдан чыккан карсак. Процентов на 50-60 всех остальных от меня, а от барабанов надо нормально поднять бочку, рабочий и хэт.
Просто постучать. сейчас вообще стояла, у меня такая мысль прокралась.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome performance by the rock band Flying Up. Xodimlar va janoblar, Flying Up jamoasi tomonidan maxsus rock yo'nalishidagi chiqish qarshi oling.
Все, вы с Ромкой синхронизовались? Все, начинаем? Добро, давай. Ладно. Он в курсе?
Dünya pılaydı Angimiz açılsa Üstümde içimde Kengsiz bu osman Görünmez fakat Gözge Bir qo'ldan chiqqan qarsak sadosini, 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 bir qo'ldan chiqqan qarsak sadosi, bir qo'ldan chiqqan qarsak sadosi, bir qo'ldan chiqqan qarsak sadosi, bir qo'ldan chiqqan qarsak sadosini. Rahmat.
Xonimlar va janoblar, 5 daqiqadan so'ng navbatdagi sessiya boshlanadi. Hurmatli qatnashchilar, 5 daqiqadan so'ng navbatdagi sessiya boshlanadi. Dear participants, the next session will start in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, let us start a special session by the British Council, a global perspective on the creative economy. Jairaj Mashru, Daniar Amanaliyev, Marcel Kraus, Avril Joffe, Andre Dempster Chang, Laura Kalanan.
Hello. All right. Hey, good afternoon, everyone. And big warm namaste to Tashkent, all the way from Mumbai. Namaste. Come on, you can do better. Namaste. After that wonderful band of music, I thought there would be great energy here, so I thank them for raising the energy. It's an honor to be here as part of the 4th World Conference on Creative Economy, along with my esteemed panel and dear friends and colleagues from the Global Creative Economy Council. Let's get started. We're going to talk about global case studies for the creative economy. And if I could have, yes, the slides are up, that's great. We have a clicker, that's right. Excellent. So the Global Creative Economy Council is supported by the British Council, who is a knowledge partner here today at the conference, as well as the Creative Industries Policy and Evidence Centre in the UK, which is supported by the Arts and Humanities Research Council of the UK. The website here that you see is an enormous encyclopedia of research, case studies, and policy briefings that the Policy and Evidence Center puts out on a regular basis. So I do encourage any of you who are looking for more information on the topic to spend some time browsing the website. You'll find a wealth of information and perhaps even be able to contribute something from this region to the PEC. I'm sure they'd welcome more knowledge from the region. The Global Creative Economy Council, just a brief introduction. We started in 2018 and have really evolved into one of the most unique groups of passionate experts of the creative economy, representing not just some parts of the world, but especially the global south. We have a very healthy balance, even on the panel today. We have 4 members from the global south and 1 from the global north, which is a strong indicator of how the creative economy is evolving and the potential for its growth in the future. One of the things that the council, all of us have done, especially during the lockdown, was to create a very simple action plan that covers all the dimensions of this dynamic creative economy. There are 11 points of action that we recommended to any government at the city, state, or national, or even regional level that they would want to take these actions in order to develop their own creative economy, but also at the same time achieve the UN Sustainable Development Goals. As you can see on the slide, some of the actions include investing in creative education and entrepreneurship, and investing in R&D, investing in creating the commercial and digital infrastructure so that the creative economy can have limitless reach all over the planet. And it goes on to finer points such as international collaboration and standards of data collection. Today we're going to spend, yesterday we actually presented in much more depth and detail each of the 11 points with some examples. Today we're going to focus on covering some key case studies that each of my panelists are actually spearheading in their own part of the world and doing some incredible work and having some amazing impact on the ground for the real stakeholders of the creative economy, who are the entrepreneurs and the practitioners of creative disciplines and craft and culture. One point I would leave before I introduce the first case study. One of the things that I have found very fascinating in the creative economy is the West and the global North and the developed nations have always had an advantage because they started developing and investing much earlier than other parts of the world. And so if you see their journey of creative economy, they have started with very mature educational institutions and then had the opportunity to develop the creative industries and the commercial infrastructure, and finally with the internet and connectivity and digital infrastructure. In this part of the world, even in India and in Central Asia, I think we have the opportunity to leapfrog into the future by simultaneously developing the creative, commercial, and connectivity infrastructure. And if we do this, there is limitless potential for exponential growth of the creative economy. With that, I would love to invite Danyar. And just by the way, if any of you are interested, we do have hard copies lying around all over this conference in various corners. You will find our 11-point agenda available in Russian as well as Uzbek. And this QR code will allow you to download it in English and a bunch of other languages as well. So I'll leave this slide on for a second if anyone wants to scan the QR code. And now over to my dear friend and colleague, Danyar Amanyalev from Ololo Creative Hubs in Bishkek, Kyrgyzstan.
Thank you, Jay. Now, all this conversation about global North and global South, I think, some people are debating about it, saying we cannot divide a world like this. But if you look at this division on this map, it clearly shows that there is a huge imbalance that we see in this world. So in this blue part of the world, we have 1/5 of the world population that is generating 3/5 of the world GDP. So 20% of people in the world generate 60% of GDP annually. It's not just once, which means that the gap will only be growing if it continues like this. So the global South, which is represented in red color here, is 80% of the world population, but it's generating only 40% of the world GDP. And sometimes we think that this gap might be decreasing, this inequality might slow down. In fact, all the numbers are showing that the inequality keeps growing. For example, the slides on the left shows the Gini coefficient that shows that during the last 70 years, the inequality, global inequality, economic inequality was only growing. And if you look at the slide on the right, you can see that the growth, the general growth in the world was created by OECD countries, which is less than 40 countries of the world, the most developed ones. They are developing in a much faster pace than the rest of the world. So if you look at this red line on the right diagram, it shows the pace of the developing countries. We are behind. And although there are some exclusions, there is China, for example, that is developing much faster. Most of the other countries in the world are developing at a very, very slow pace. Now, if you want to understand why it's happening, I think one of the reasons, if you look into creative industries, is that as UNCTAD report shows, there's a huge difference between global services and global goods. When I speak about this in my country, I just explained that creative services are the goods that we cannot touch. And unfortunately, in countries like mine, culturally, people prefer to buy things that they can touch, tangible things. Like, for example, a lot of money was spent on this badge, and it's very, very useful, but only for 3 days. While people are buying cars, they're buying apartments, they're not really investing in the kids' education, because you cannot touch the kids' education. And lately, the last 10 years, global services in the world, including IT, for example, are growing at a much faster pace than global goods. What we see on the next slide is that global services are mostly produced by developed countries, the line on the top. But the global goods are mostly produced by developing world, which you can also say that this is the global south world. So what we lack in the global south is production of creative services. Why is it happening? I keep asking myself, and especially in my business, I think if we look at this diagram that was created by Everett Rogers 50 years ago, he spoke of the diffusion of innovation, and he said that the innovation is created by a very, very small portion of the population, roughly 2.5%. So if you talk about Uzbekistan, if you have 40 million population here, 1 million of them are potential Einsteins, are potential Elon Musks, are potential Steve Jobs. But are they becoming these geniuses? Or is there a problem with education? Is there a problem with ecosystem? Is there a problem with investment? Is there a problem with culture in which they are not supported, the innovators? I think it's happening in my country, Kyrgyzstan, for example, and the problem that we have is that innovators keep moving to the global north. So a lot of people, a lot of talented people who speak good English, who have good education, who have great ideas, they dream of going and living in Europe, in the US, for example. And if this tendency continues, what will happen is that all the innovation will only belong to global north all the time, in most of the cases. And global south will keep importing the products, the ready products. So the global north is importing innovators, the global south is importing innovation. This is the reason behind this distinction and behind this growing gap. And in our countries in global south, I think we need to learn to create ecosystems that support innovators. What we did in Kyrgyzstan is the Creative Industries Park, a special law that provides lowest taxation in the world for all creative industries. I think it will pay off in the nearest years.
Thank you, Danyar. If I can have the clicker just for a moment, and Avril, while you set up, I'm going to fill in for my dear friend and colleague Marcel Kraus from the Technology, Arts and Humanities Center in Czech Republic, Prague. Unfortunately, Marcel is not keeping well today, so he was not able to join us in person, but he requested me to help share his message with you. Marcel has been involved in teaching at the Charles University in Prague for many years, and together with the city of Prague, Charles University is investing in creating a multidisciplinary center for innovation called the Technology, Arts and Humanities Center for Innovation, which is on the next slide here. Yes, wonderful, thank you. So TAH is a very special place because, picking up on what Danyar was saying about innovation, the reason why Charles University and City of Prague are creating the center is because the problems of the past were simpler problems. We could solve the problem within the same industry. So if there is a food problem, we look at agriculture and we find a solution. If there is a healthcare problem, we look to the pharmaceutical industry and we find a vaccine or a treatment. But if the problems of the future are going to be much more complicated, and we will not find the best solution from silo of an industry. And therefore, transdisciplinary experimentation in multidisciplinary centers like the TAH is very important. There are many such examples around the world. If Marcel was here, he would share many more. But his key message to us is, for the future, for innovation and problem solving, we need to collaborate across industries and across sectors and have that diversity of perspective so that the best idea can be discovered and new solutions can be created. Thank you, Marcel. Next up, we have Avril Jaffe from South Africa.
Hi everyone. I'm going to stand because the screen is behind me and I can't see it. That's a great intro to what I'm going to talk about, because one of the things that we've been really concerned about is recognizing the prevalence of informality in the cultural and creative economy. And I'm going to just bring up the slides. And one of the issues that we've been thinking about is how do we support the informal part of our creative economy? In particular, it's not moving. There we go. In particular, now I need to go back. Sorry. Must I point in another direction? Yeah. No. Yeah, there we go. In particular, what are the public policy responses we could have to the informal creative economy? So in my world, I'm from South Africa, and a lot of the work that we've been doing on the Global Creative Economy Council has been looking at all of our contexts, which are very different, from Latin America to Asia to Africa to the UK to the US to the Czech Republic to China, etc. We recognize a similar problem exists, that atypical nature of work in the culture and creative sector, project-based, freelance, often very unsupported, with no real social protection. And this context made us think about, we did a study supported by the British Council, and we looked at the extent of informality, and we asked the question, what is the motivation for people remaining informal even when they can be more formally organized and constituted? And we recognized there were different motivations: economic, political, social, wanting to avoid paying tax, or whatever the case may be. And that we weren't going to quickly move the informal economy, which is more than 2 billion people in the world, into the formal sector. There wasn't one directionality for that. People in the informal economy work informally, and sometimes they work in the formal, they go back to the informal, they go back to the formal. So there's this continuum and constant movement between, an interplay between formality and informality. And the study is available on the internet. There's a website there if you want to look at it. But having done that work, we in the Global Creative Economy Council thought, well, what are the public policy responses to that? And one of them are the institutions or the intermediaries that create a buffer between the informal and the formal. And we looked at many kinds of intermediaries. Public intermediaries set up by the government, private intermediaries set up by ordinary artists, creatives, like the Creative Industries Alliance that we met in Kazakhstan, academic intermediaries, and we even looked at ones that we call public-private partnerships. And that helped us understand that there were many forms and formations of institution that created the robust creative sector, because they were the ones who were supporting individual artists, individual creatives, with access to different areas of support that they needed, that I'm going to come to in a second. So what we really wanted to understand is, and we are still doing that research, is how do these different partnerships work? There we go. Right, sorry, keeps going back. Okay, so we found that intermediaries are important for many reasons. They don't all have to do the same thing, and they don't all have to do everything. But you do need intermediaries that think about finance and business support services. And on the slide, I've got a couple of examples from the Global Creative Council that you might have heard in other sessions. Like for finance, you might have heard about Upstart CoLab, but you're going to hear about that today as well. There are many other groups that also provide finance, business support services. Knowledge production, really important. Creatives and individual artists really need information. They need information to know what are market trends, where are the audiences, what are new ways of producing, where do you find finance, who are the other creatives in the sector. That knowledge production is something that an intermediary can organize, facilitate, and disseminate to the artists. And there again, we see many examples from within the Global Creative Council of people that we all work with. Skills and training we found are particularly important, because it's not the skills and training you normally get in a university. It's a kind of skills and training that you need to get on the job while you're working to become the cultural manager, the festival producer, and so on. And there we see many fantastic organizations, such as the World Creativity Organization in Brazil, Artmo in China, and there are many others, the Craft and Design Institute in my country as well, very specific about a sectoral knowledge. So the idea of an intermediary being able to develop the detailed expert knowledge in a particular sector of the creative economy. Another really important part of intermediary work is providing incubation space, providing space for co-working, but also for incubating ideas, for incubating products. And there last year we were lucky enough to go to Egypt. And we found this fantastic organization called Nilpreneurs that incubates space and support ordinary creatives to develop the most amazing recycled products. We also found that some intermediaries are actually membership-based, so they get a financial contribution from their members, which allows them to continue working. And others are lobby groups. They are there particularly to provide a voice for individual creatives and artists to government to advocate for new policies, new measures, new regulations, the tax incentive we heard from Danny. And finally, those that are involved in product design. And just a very quick, I wanted to mention a wonderful co-working space set up by my university, University of the Witwatersrand, called the Chimologong Precinct. I'm sorry, but the slide didn't come out very well here, but it's an academic intermediary set up by the university to stimulate innovation in gaming and animation. So I just wanted to give you that example. And we will be publishing the work that we produce in the next couple of months. And finally, just the last point is there are intermediary organizations that also look at questions of innovation, enterprise development, and obviously digital platforms. And I gave a couple of examples here that you might want to speak to some of the people on the Global Creative Economy Council. We all hear about some of these examples. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Avril, and especially thank you for flying from so far away from Johannesburg to be with us here today. Next up, another dear friend and colleague, Andrea Dempster-Chung. Andrea runs an amazing organization in one of my favorite places in the world, Jamaica. Please, Andrea, over to you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and I bring you very warm greetings from the island nation of Jamaica. Now, in Jamaica, when we say good afternoon, you have to say good afternoon back. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Great. It's great to be here. My name is Andrea Dempster-Chung, and I'm a consultant in the creative industries in the Caribbean, and I run Kingston Creative, which is a nonprofit organization and a non-governmental organization, one of the intermediaries that Avril was just speaking about. Our mission is empowering creative people and leveraging culture for sustainable development of our country. Now, Jamaica is a small island developing nation located between North America and South America. Very small island with a population of only 2.8 million people. You can see here that it has a GDP of 19.42 billion, and it's actually driven quite heavily, our GDP, by remittances, which are received from the 3 million Jamaicans that live outside the country around the world. Now, Kingston is a UNESCO Creative City of Music, and reggae music, which is also designated by UNESCO as intangible cultural heritage, it really drives our economy. So it's a global cultural product which icons like Bob Marley carried this music absolutely worldwide. But our biggest earner is actually tourism, and cultural tourism, the people who visit the island for the festivals, the music, the dance. This is a very important and fast-growing niche for our economy. According to UNESCO, the Jamaican creative economy contributes 5.2% to GDP, 13.75 million US, and 3% of the jobs. But we know that this is underreported. Our National Film Commission last year reported that 13.9 million US was earned just from film alone. And also, a single concert headlined by Chris Brown earned $8 million US dollars. So we know that the figures that are gathered officially are underreported, especially when it comes to the creative economy. We have the same issues that have been mentioned time and time again at these sessions, where we have issues with data collection, we have issues with informality, creative businesses not being registered, and lack of systems to collect the data that then drives policy and can create a healthy creative ecosystem. So Jamaica is a highly creative country. I mentioned music, but you can see here that music is not even the one on the top. We have a lot of visual artists, we have performing arts, we have design, crafts, fashion, culinary arts is a big one, and of course, festivals. So although we have a lot of creative people, we have not adequately invested in developing the ecosystem within the country to convert this raw talent from people into sustainable national development and growth. The global music industry is estimated to be valued at $28.6 billion, but the revenues from reggae music production and music sales is really not recognized by Jamaica. It's mainly earned by other countries, as the business of music, the distribution, and many of the global reggae festivals happen in Japan, they happen in North America, they happen in Europe. So even though we have the raw talent, we created the genre, we have the artists that make the music, Jamaica is not benefiting from music as much as it should. So as an NGO, Kingston Creative's goal is to be that intermediary between government, between public sector, and between the creatives themselves. We want to develop a strategy that can create this healthy creative ecosystem by focusing on two things, people and place. On the placemaking side, we invest in a creative placemaking, which is essentially developing a cultural district in the heart of the capital city, with over 100 murals, a creative co-working hub, monthly art festivals that activate the space and bring thousands of visitors into the district. This art district, also called Water Lane, and it's on TripAdvisor, you can take a look and find it. It is in a high crime and high poverty area of the city, downtown Kingston. And so creating this art district there has really transformed that area. It's transformed the perception of that area and the perception of the people who come from that area, resulting in us actually winning Best Creative Destination in the World in 2023. It also opened, well, thank you, Danyar. It also opens up opportunities for the creative youth that live in those communities, which is very important. They now have alternative ways to earn. On the people development side, we're proud to say that we've been working with the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB Lab Department, with a $1.2 million US program to develop the capacity of creative entrepreneurs and to help them to formalize, scale their businesses, and access very all-important capital. So the program I'm going to explain in one slide is called CreaTech, a merger of what happens at the intersection of creativity and technology. It's an entrepreneur development pipeline, you could look at it, that helps 133 entrepreneurs to register their businesses and their IP, very importantly. It offered 1,787 training opportunities in business and digital skills. We don't train in arts. Our entrepreneurs are very talented in the artistic pursuits. It's business and digital skills that are really required. We then provide opportunities for networking through monthly meetups and through an annual culture forum, which connects over 100 different stakeholders to ensure the ecosystem is being connected. We ran 4 hackathon events where you put creatives and techies in the same room and allow them to create solutions to problems. We offer incubator and accelerator programs, which have supported over 81 different enterprises. We developed a Caribbean Creative Network, a database essentially, a platform that improves discoverability and lends market access. You can now find a Caribbean creative on this platform. We've offered travel grants and sent 8 different artists overseas to learn how to do business in different countries, to showcase their skills, to perform at international festivals. This is very, very important because when you come from a small place, your customer is not within your island. Your customer is out there in the world. And at the end of the pipeline, you can see the access to finance. So 147 creatives were trained in how to package their creative ideas into an investable business product. After the training, they attended pitch competitions, and 10 entrepreneurs were able to access 12,000 US in total in seed funding for their businesses. We then arranged B2B meetings for the best of the best in the pipeline, and they were able to meet with 47 investors, which they would not have had access to otherwise, other than through this B2B program. And then the final piece of work under the Createch program is an app called Culture Connect. This is an e-commerce platform for Jamaican creatives where people can book tours, they can access creative services, and they can purchase creative products. So all in all, I would like to say that we're very, very grateful to the Development Bank of Jamaica, the Jamaican government, and the Inter-American Development Bank, who were our two main partners in this program. Overall, you can see the impact on the slide. 1,553 creatives benefited from this 1.2 million US dollar investment. The program actually launched during the pandemic, and we reported that 92% of the creatives incorporated technology in some way in their businesses, which we think is a huge win. And I'm also happy to say that we made some small progress in the area of formalization, in that 133 creatives registered their business. So our objective as an intermediary organization was to really increase and improve the scale and the quality and the number and the scope of our local creative entrepreneurs, and to facilitate market access for them. We believe that with strategic and really targeted interventions, even in the absence of having perfect data and perfect reporting systems and perfect policies, we certainly don't have that, we believe that we are able to really enable Jamaica to harness the talent from its people and convert it into sustainable growth for the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andrea. So who wants to go to Jamaica now? Yeah, all right, let's make it happen soon. Over to our final case study from my dear friend and colleague Laura Callanan, who runs Upstart Collab in America, United States.
So my organization, Upstart Collab, works at the intersection of impact investing and the creative economy. So I don't need to define the creative economy in this room, but here's the definition for impact investing. It's proper investment. It's not a gift, it's not a grant, it's not money from the government that they don't expect to be repaid. It's a proper investment that expects to earn a financial return, but it wants to do more than that. Impact investment also... Impact investment also wants to do something positive for society and positive for the planet. Impact investors think about the well-being of workers, communities, and the environment. So there are a lot of reasons that the creative economy should be thinking about impact investing, and I guess the biggest one is that there's more than $30 trillion US currently under impact investing around the world. So there's a lot of money that's investing in this way. And for the creative economy, this can be a new set of resources on top of government funding, on top of philanthropic support, and on top of commercial investment. And so it's important for impact investors to learn about the creative economy. It's important for leaders in the creative economy to be seeking conversations and partnerships with impact investors. So a couple of the reasons that I think the creative economy is well positioned for impact investing. I've just tried to describe here. You have very wealthy people who are art collectors and they're impact investors, and they're starting to put these two passions together. So you're beginning to see individuals in France and in the US invest in accordance with their passion around arts and design and culture and heritage and creativity. Impact investment managers, fund managers, are investing in businesses in the creative industries. Now, they're not really targeting the creative economy on purpose, but they're finding that the businesses that they want to invest in that are led by women, led by people of color, are doing positive things in their community, are often in creative industries. So that's a real plus for the creative economy. On top of that, you have conventional fund managers who just want to make money. They're investing in the creative industries as well, which is great, because impact investors want to know that they can make a market rate financial return in addition to having social impact. So it's really validating to have the commercial fund managers targeting the creative industries. And lastly, in the last 5 years or so, you've seen some of the big venture capital funds in Silicon Valley prioritizing culture and creativity because they know that artists and creatives can both anticipate the future of consumer demand and try to shape it. So that's the good news. Really, so I think some real strengths that the creative economy can offer to impact investors and some early signs of progress in these two worlds coming together. But you can look at the glass as half empty, or you can look at the glass as half full. I like to be positive, but we have to recognize that even with these early signals of possibility, not a lot of impact investing dollars are currently moving to the creative economy. What my organization is doing in the United States, working at this intersection of impact investing and the creative economy, we are really the only ones doing it. And there are a few great examples in the UK and Europe and Africa and Latin America, but these funds are rare enough that I can count them on two hands. So why? Why has the creative economy not been a priority for impact investors up till now? Well, the best known, the first movers in the impact investing space have not been artists and designers. They've not come from the creative fields. They've come from finance and they've come from technology. And so they're kind of leaning into those industries that they know well. A lot of people, particularly I'm embarrassed to say in the US, they understand arts and culture and they don't understand creative industries. So for investors to see the investment potential, they have to think about these as industries with businesses that make stuff and provide services and hire people, and then investors can wrap their head around the money-making opportunity here. For the most part, a lot of people, they're thinking about ballerinas and opera singers and Picasso paintings, and they don't see the impact investing opportunity. Sadly, impact investing funds are really trailing venture funds to see the cutting edge, innovative potential that the creative economy can provide. And frankly, impact investors and leaders in the creative community are not in dialogue with one another. There's not an exchange of ideas, there's not an opportunity for partnership in the way that there should be. So part of the work of my organization, Upstart CoLab, an intermediary, as Avril described, is to connect the dots and build the bridges between the impact investing community and the creative economy. Artists, designers, cultural leaders, people like yourselves. My request for the future is that the next time, I guess in 2 years, that we have another World Creative Economy Conference, that there's a much more targeted push to invite leaders from the Global Impact Investing Network and the Global Steering Group for Impact Investing and the Aspen Network for Development Entrepreneurs to all come and participate, because that is the way the creative economy is going to make itself known and explain itself well to the leaders in the impact investing space. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura and Andrea as well for flying all the way here to be with us. I'm sure everyone here is really appreciating this unique combination of perspectives from places all over this planet. In conclusion, I think we're running out of time, but we are here for a few more minutes. If anyone has questions, we can take them off stage. In the meanwhile, I would love to thank the World Conference for Creative Economy and all the volunteers and organizations that have put this amazing couple of days together for us to be here and discuss very important issues. And especially thank you for your attention. Rahmat, shukriya, thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we need 5 minutes for the next session. Xonimlar va janoblar, 5 daqiqadan so'ng navbatdagi sessiya boshlanadi. Attention please, we are starting the next session. Diqqat, navbatdagi sessiyani boshlamoqdamiz. A special session by the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy of Indonesia, enhancing international cooperation on creative economy for sustainable development. Marisa Henderson, Chief of the Creative Economy Program. John Hawkins, Author and Creative Industries Expert, UK. Nicholas Bouchot, President of the Grand Paris Alliance for Metropolitan Development. Moderator, Dvinita Larasati, Indonesia Creative Cities Network. Also, our panelists, John Newbegin, Chair, Global Economy Council. Mohammad Nail L, Deputy for Digital Economy and Creative Product Minister of Tourism and Culture Economy, Indonesia.
So good afternoon, everybody. Now we're in among the final sessions of WCCE. I'm welcoming here people who really need maybe no long introduction because we almost know them. And we're still waiting for Marisa, who is now on the way. But I would like to introduce our speakers for this session. Neil El Himam, he's the Deputy of Digital and Creative Industry at the Ministry of Tourism and Creative Economy. We have John Newbegin, a Special Advisor to the UK Minister of Culture, co-founder and first Chair of Creative England, Mayor of London's Ambassador for the Creative Industries and Chair of the Global Creative Economy Council. Nicolas Bouchot, President of the Grand Paris Alliance for Metropolitan Development. And John Hawkins, Author and Creative Industries Expert, UK. So we're actually having this session because last year the UN has passed a resolution on creative economy for sustainable development. And we would like to have a reflection and also insights about what we can do with the resolution and our future take on it. So actually I would like to have Marisa first, but then let's go with Nicola.
Thank you, Budita. And good afternoon for the bravest of the braves who are still here with us on a Friday afternoon at the near conclusion of WCC. So when I hear your question, I would like also to ask ourselves what to do with the World Conference on Creative Economy. We have been 3 consecutive days here. There has been a lot happening, and we have been learning a lot also, including in terms of organization and so on. So maybe one main conclusion is that this format of interaction, which has been described at many occasions as a crossroads of different ways, public, private, entrepreneurial, government, international organizations oriented, and so on, is really useful. And I was thinking this morning while walking on the alleys or while having another panel and listening to others, etc., at some point when there are different sessions going on together and when people like to gather very informally in the alleys, etc., then the machine of how to strategize creative economy goes on. And when you are an architect, a designer, an impact financer, a government representative, a student, and so on, and then suddenly you meet and you greet and you say, oh, this is this person, etc. You exchange cards, and regardless of the affiliations or of the geographic origins or etc., and it works. I was also thinking, this is what we need, right? Because what we have to solve as an equation remains a bit difficult. On first, and it was mentioned yesterday on the same stage, the creative economy child as an object of public policy is still relatively young. And we have to take care of it. We have to protect it. We have to nurture it. I think one very big and grave mistake would be to think that, oh, that's it with creative economy, right? We have pushed it with this fantastic venue, and let's meet in 2 years. I think this would be a very serious mistake. A lot of care should be brought to support a global creative economy agenda, which is a bit different than an addition of interests, or which is also a bit different than just the addition of the different creative and cultural industries sectors. So that's the first point. The second point, creative economy, I think, is not a standalone agenda. That's also very important, right? Of course, we love creative economy and we want to promote it and to push it. But as with the overall umbrella headline of this whole WCC process, inclusively creative, crafted by Indonesia, reminds us every day, we are talking about creative economy, but we are talking about the society, we are talking about inclusion, we are talking about economic transformations. And therefore, I would like that this new edition of WCC and the many nice decisions and initiatives that will be implemented, because yesterday ministers agreed on a roadmap after Tashkent, right? 3 things. The first one, attaching creative economy and climate issues, right? That means a lot. And of course, in a month from now, not far from here in Baku, there will be the COP29, and we have really tried to think about very concretely how we can bring some of the main conclusions, but also reflect on the momentum of creative economy in that context, and vice versa. So that's the first point. The second point, we mentioned that creative economy is emerging or appears in a number of macroeconomic global fora. I'm thinking here about the G20, and regional fora or regional organizations, APEC, ASEAN, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and others. It's very critical that there is a kind of articulation between those different regional and international fora to support a global uptake on creative economy. And last but not least, one maybe, it looks maybe like a more technical point, but I don't think it is. It's quite strategic indeed, is what international financial institutions, and especially multilateral development banks, can do to support creative economy. I was always a bit cautious about that, because if suddenly creative economy becomes an object in the hands of the banks, it might not be so about creative economy any longer, but about establishing taxonomies and risk assessments, etc. And suddenly the essence of creativeness might be lost a little bit on the way. But take it the other way, and I think it's the right moment, because if you think about climate transformations, you need to think about societal transformations. You need to think about implementing a culture of sustainability. You need to think about transformations of production and consumption systems, etc. And that comes back to creative economy one way or the other. So I'm very happy to announce that after this, there will be discussions among a few of the multilateral development banks, starting with Asian Development Bank. We were here with ADBI, with Inter-American Development Bank and others, to think about how to move forward. And that's a very tangible illustration of how the energy of such a summit can be conveyed into concrete decisions.
I hope there will be good news coming out from those meetings for creative economy in the future. With that, I'll ask John to begin to also give his insights on the global creative economy and with the way we move forward.
Thank you, Tita, and good afternoon, everybody. It occurs to me in the last 2 or 3 days that the creative economy agenda is now gaining such traction around the world with the main UN agencies and with the UN General Assembly. Much of that is thanks to the work of the Indonesian government over time. But one of the things that I think is interesting about this event is that the World Conference on Creative Economy is not a UN body. It's not in the family of UN agencies. It is its own unique, non-formal entity. It's what it's not that interests me. It's about the economy, but it's not just about the economy. It's about culture, but it's not just about culture. It's about environment, but it's not just about the environment. It's about cities, but it's not just about cities. It's, in the words of Edna dos Santos when she was writing the great 2008 UN report on creative economy, it's an evolving concept. Like the creative economy, it's an evolving concept. And the value of this conference, seems to me, is that it's an opportunity for people to come and share practice, to share examples, to share case studies, legislation, regulations from their own countries, and look at building networks. That is not what happens in the same way in other international events of this kind. And the fact that the reach and scope of WCCE is growing, the fact that, as Nicholas has just said, the development banks are here, Asian Development Bank and Inter-American Development Bank, the fact that in 2018, when the first WCCE was held, it would not be conceivable to have one held in Central Asia. In 2024 already, it makes sense to have this in Central Asia. That is how fast this concept and this economy is evolving. So the value of these events is enormous. And it does seem to me that one of the things we should think about is how we help WCCE to evolve going forward. And as several people have made interventions at several points in the last 2 or 3 days, it's evolving so rapidly, maybe meeting every 2 years is not quickly enough. We need to meet every year. Maybe there needs to also be a greater system for sharing and developing agendas between one conference and another. It's a global event, but there's no doubt that there's a predominance of developing economies and developing countries represented here who need to have the capacity to share and exchange ideas. And when I look at this event, which has been fantastic, it's a fabulous setting, there is money in this game as well, and we could be using that money to develop some serious policy initiatives and assistance for growing economies around the world. So I have enjoyed this last 2 or 3 days enormously. I think that this is an extraordinarily valuable and unique concept. Congratulations to the Indonesians for developing it. I think we should try and keep it unique and allow it to evolve in the extraordinary way that it has done. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Having this kind of meetings every year will take a lot of resources. So in a way, we can still making this conversation with more focus rather than having a huge festival. But then again, it's important to keep creative economy relevant for the future and how it connects to other sectors. Because creative economy, again, its transversality is really potential to influence other sectors to make it more innovative. So with this, I give the mic to Pa Neil, as also representative of our ministry who initiated the resolution and the other, including WCCE. What is your reflection from this WCCE and the way forward? Please, Pa Neil.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Tita. Well, I remember they say this is an African proverb. If you want to go fast, you go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together. So with that, I think when we talk about creative economy, if you want to leverage this economy to be able to make it as big as possible and as beneficial as possible for everyone or for every stakeholders, then we need to work together. We need to collaborate together. In the past few years, through this platform as well, through this WCCE platform, we have been trying to mainstream the creative economy concepts as a new economy for a lot of us in the Global South, meaning that this is opportunity for many nations to improve their welfare through creative economy. For example, we found out that our creative economy, because someone from the Philippines in our first WCCE challenged us, like, what are you basing your creative economy? Because suddenly there is a culinary in there. They said that, like we try to base our creative economy through IP. The next year in 2019, we actually issued a law, established a law on creative economy, and our creative economy is based on IP, intellectual property. And that's why we also push this initiative into WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization, because the foundation of our creative economy is the IP itself, the IP of the creators, right? And then the next year, actually, Philippines issued, in 2022, I'm sorry, they also have come up with their creative economy law. So it's a kind of a competition, but we actually collaborate in terms of trying to push each other to make use, to make use of this concept and to make it better, to improve it so that it can be reach its full potential. So platform like World Conference on Creative Economy, and then there is actually also other platform related to creative economy that we need also to engage. For example, there is this World Design Organization, which is for us is also under one of the subsector is design, of course, but we need to use to leverage that. If you can collaborate with this organization and make sure that mainstreaming, realizing its potential of the creative economy in not just design, of course, other sectors as well, so that we can get we can reach all the full benefit of this creative economy. So, looking forward, I think we need to, like my minister said yesterday, we are going to, and also John, to increase the reach through the frequency as well as the regions as well, in terms of regions. So that's why I believe that if we can have it for every year, not just every other region, but every year, it would be beneficial for all of us, especially in collaboration in developing this creative economy globally.
I think there's a challenge that we would love to take.
Yes.
Because
Yes, of course,
we
yes.
like talking about creative economy and how we really implement it to be impactful. In that note, it's time for Marisa, because on behalf of UNTED, who is the leading organization for the UN resolution on creative economy, we really are curious of how UNTED will set the framework, because starting 2026, we're going to have this report, and how would UNTAD make us exercise for it?
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm late. Nearer. Yeah. Now I can hear. So thank you so much. I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to be in this panel talking about creative economy as a whole. UNCTAD, the UN, as you can see, has the power of convening people. And we really are here to support member states' efforts in their willingness to maximize creative economy for trade, sustainable trade and development. But when I say member states, I don't mean just simply governments. As we've seen here, that it's a very varied bunch of people. So here we have creators, we have universities, we have governments. Sorry. So I think the resolution that was approved is for all of you. And I wanted to mention that it was approved by consensus at the end of last year. That means that it was approved by the whole world. All of you have agreed on that, which is not very, it's kind of rare commodity at the moment. So what can we do with it? We have provided people with a framework for cooperation. So we will be happy to hear, but also I think we need to go beyond the global level, and you have seen during this conference the importance of going into the national level, the stories that are behind the big trends. And this is how the Sustainable Development Goals will be noticed, that the achievement of sustainable goals is where we can see the results. So during all this past, since we started working with Indonesia, we can see at the national level how governments and their civil society have worked together, for example, in Indonesia with the digital economy and the services economy. The creative economy is a services economy. And we see there that there is where the potential is. Even though in South-South cooperation at the moment, the big thing is trade in goods, but there is a trend towards the certification of manufacturing on creative goods. So we need to work with governments to create data that is necessary to measure and have policies based on data. And I want to acknowledge this group of people that are here who have been following very closely this conference. And you haven't seen the backbone of the conference is here, and some of you also there, because we have been really listening to you, and we are going to see how we can work together to bring new ideas and to provide a framework for cooperation and action. I will stop here. Yeah?
Okay, we'll go back to you maybe more. Now for John Hawkins, from these 3 days and from your experience, I'm sure you have future insights of what creative economy will be for the global world.
Thank you, Chida. I've had a wonderful time. That's my main feeling at the moment. I really enjoyed the last 3 days. I've met many old friends, I've met many new friends, and pick up on John's point. As I moved around the semi-darkness and went from room to room and sat down next to somebody, I never quite knew who I was going to meet. It could be a tech entrepreneur, it could be an artist, a designer, it could be a government delegation, it could be a UN organization. And that's the spirit and the strength of WCCE, that John said, we are our own master. We are in control of our own destiny. We invite the people we want to invite. They all come together. They all share an interest in the future of the creative economy. And they all sit in rows together. We all meet each other and get to know each other, and we become friends. So I think at that level it's worked really well. In terms of the future of WCCE, I absolutely support the comments made already that what is happening out there is so rapid and so interesting. And what's going to happen in a year's time is unknown to us. That we really can't wait 2 years for another gathering. We have to shorten our frequency to annual, and we have to strengthen the presence, the brand, the reach of WCCE on a permanent basis, not just in the conferences, but all the time. I'm collecting quotes on creativity at the moment. I've got about 800, and I hope to publish them. And there's one quote that has come to my mind over the last few days. It's by a musician called John Cage, very famous American musician, very experimental American musician. And I discovered two things as I'm researching the quotes that I come across. One is that John Cage's real interest was mushrooms. He was a mycologist. He went to night school at NYU, New York University, to study mushrooms. And he was once asked what he might have done if he hadn't been a musician. And quick as a flash, he said, I would have been a mycologist. I would have studied mushrooms. And we might have lost a wonderful man. And the quote, there's that quote that I'm including, but there's another quote that he made on another occasion, which was, I'm not interested in self-expression. A lot of people talk about I'm not interested in self-expression. I'm interested in self-alteration. I'm interested in what happens to me as I write music, as I compose music. Of course I produce a work, and people perform it or they don't, that's up to them. I have no control over that. And the work I feel may be good or bad. But what draws me to composition is the effect it has on me, and he used this word, self-alteration. And I think that's actually true for every creative person. It's a process of self-alteration as well as self-expression. And not a quote, but another remark that occurred to me late last night as I was going back to the hotel, which was that creativity is a very private, personal thing. But as I've said before, yesterday, it's inherent in all of us. And I think creativity is an act of generous humanity. I think there's something about being human, being fully human, that leads to creativity. And I think it's an act of sharing our ideas generously with the world. And it's not top of the agenda, but I think the creative artist is thinking of something that in some tiny way, some small way, may be a benefit to the world. And they want to make it elegant and get it out there for others to have a look at and experience. So generous humanity is, I think, the essence of creativity. And I think it's the essence of a good conference too, generous humanity. Mixing with other people, all cultures, interests, professions, practice. I've enjoyed it the last few days for that reason, and I wanted to have it again as soon as possible.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, our speakers. For the last round, because we only have a few minutes, for the closing, I ask each of you for 1 minute maximum to tell us if you are to write a book about these 3 days and the next about creative economy, what will it be or what will the title be? For 1 minute. Nicola, you want to start? I think you're ready because you have a script already.
If I were to write something or a book or a note after this this conference, I would name it probably something like Creative Economy and the Liberation of the Future. Because that's what it is about. That's not just saying, oh, there are challenges and then how can we adapt and it's a bit sad and so on. No. As John was saying, human, genuine forces across cultures, across different talents, using technologies, using whatever is in our reach, using our collective forces, right, to make a breakthrough and build maybe a different future, right? So that's what I would say.
Great, looking forward. John, you begin.
I'm afraid my book would have a very depressing title. It would be The Climate Crisis is a Culture Crisis. I'm beginning to realize more and more as the 2030 deadline approaches that we cheerfully set ourselves for the achievement of the SDGs. We're not doing very well. Time is running very, very short, and culture shapes the habits that shape the market, that shape the world, that shape the pollution, that shape the use of resources, and we have an enormous responsibility in the creative economy to own our part in solving the climate crisis. The fact that creative economy is gaining big traction in the agenda, the fact that even this morning we were talking about having a stronger creative economy presence at the COP talks, I think that's all a step forward. But for me, that would be the title of my book, and I'd feel very depressed writing it, I'm afraid to say.
But your conclusion will be hopeful.
My conclusion would be, let's get on with it. We can do it.
Marisa.
I have the title. It's called Creative Economy Report 2026.
That's a real book.
And it is going to be presented at the General Assembly at the second committee in the macroeconomic agenda in October 2026. And I invite everybody here to participate in this publication. Reach out to UNCTAD. We want to hear from you. If you have an expertise in a particular issue that is related to creative economy and the Sustainable Development Goal, please reach to us. My email is everywhere. You just put Marisa Henderson, UNCTAD, you'll find the email. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisa. Panel, I hope it's not your ministry report.
No, just not the report. But simple, probably just one a title for this. Creative economy, inclusively creative, from the people, by the people, for the people.
Yes, people at the center. Thank you, Panel. John Hawkins, you can have more books if you like.
As a professional hack, I'm very nervous of giving out titles, but I've now got a great title for it. Now, I have a book that I'm writing at the moment, and it's all you need to know about creativity in about 30,000 words. It's a very hard book to write, but the title, which the publisher has suggested, picking up on the main theme of the book, because it's based on cognition, is Thinking Forward. So it's thinking forward, it's looking to the future, it's trying to organize the future. It's based on the latest that I know of in cognitive science. It's thinking forward, organizing the future.
Thank you all. Let's have a round of applause. Oh, John is asking me my title of book. I'm going to make a comic, I think. Visually attractive and compelling and a bit depressing because we need that, but then it's just to give a hope. No title, I have a title for myself. Thank you all. Thank you. With this, I end this session. Thank you to our all amazing speakers, and I give the stage back to the organizer. Thank you.
Xonimlar va janoblar, 10 daqiqadan so'ng yopilish marosimi. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, we have 10 minutes for break, then we are going to start closing ceremony. On daqiqa tanaffusdan so'ng yopilish marosimini boshlaymiz. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, we found the mobile phone. Please, owner, come to us. We found the mobile phone. Attention, please. Participants, we have found mobile phone. The owner of this phone, come to us, please. You have to open. Hurmatli mehmonlar, iltimos o'z joylaringizni egallang, yopilish marosimi boshlanmoqda. Dear guests, please take your seats. The closing ceremony is about to begin. Barchadan iltimos qilamiz, o'rinlaringizni egallang, yopilish marosimini boshlaymiz. Please take your seats, the closing ceremony is about to begin. 1 minute left. 1 daqiqa qoldi. Дамы и господа, просим занять свои места. Мы начинаем церемонию закрытия.
Good.
Hurmatli xonimlar va janoblar, iltimos o'z o'rningizni egallang. Yopilish marosimi boshlandi. Dear guests, please take your seats.
Conference on Creative Economy is taking place this October in Uzbekistan.
4-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot
Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasida ko'rganimizdan bag'oyat xursandmiz.
Bu anjumanda ishtirok etish maqsadida dunyodan 2000 dan ortiq delegatlar yetib kelishgan.
Qadrli do'stlar, bu kunlarda biz bilan birga bo'lganingiz uchun chin qalbimizdan minnatdorlik bildiramiz. Ushbu 3 kun sizda unutilmas xotiralar qoldirganiga, sizga yangi g'oyalar bag'ishlaganiga, butun dunyodan kelgan kreativ industriyalarning yangi va qiziqarli vakillari bilan tanishtirganiga va qimmatli aloqalarni mustahkamlaganiga umid qilamiz. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you sincerely for being with us all these days. We hope that these 3 days have left you with unforgettable memories, inspired you with new ideas, introduced you to new interesting representatives of creative industries from all over the world, and strengthened valuable connections. Bu konferensiya siz uchun kreativ industriyalarda yangi ufqlarni ochdi va hammamiz uchun muhim bir qadam bo'ldi deb ayta olamiz. We believe that this conference has opened new horizons for you in the creative industries and has been an important step forward for all for us. Bugun biz kreativ iqtisodiyot bo'yicha 4-chi Butunjahon anjumanining yana bir bobini yakunlayapmiz. Bu tadbir umumiy maqsad yo'lida butun dunyodan hamjamiyatni birlashtirganidan faxrlanamiz. Today we close another chapter of the World Conference on the Creative Economy. We are proud that this event has brought together people from all over the world for a common purpose. Hurmatli xonimlar va janoblar, mazkur konferensiya uchun maxsus tayyorlangan musiqiy asar bilan sahnaga Qatar muzeylari Music Lab direktori Dana Almirni mamnuniyat bilan qarshi oling. Today we are thrilled to feature a remarkable Qatar artist who has made waves on the international stage, performing at both the FIFA World Cup and the Asian Cup. Please welcome Director of Music Lab by Qatar Museum, Dana Almir, with a special musical composition specially composed for the 4th World Conference on Creative Economy. Dana Almir, your great ovations. Hurmatli mehmonlar, konferensiyani tashkil etishda ishtirok etgan barchaga minnatdorlik bildiramiz. O'zbekiston Respublikasi hukumati, O'zbekiston madaniyat va san'atni rivojlantirish jamg'armasi, Indoneziya Respublikasi Turizm va kreativ iqtisodiyot vazirligi, Birlashgan Millatlar Tashkiloti Savdo va taraqqiyot konferensiyasi, Jahon intellektual mulk tashkiloti. Dear guests, we would like to thank all those who took part in the organization of the conference, the government of the Republic of Uzbekistan, the Uzbekistan Art and Culture Development Foundation, the Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy of the Republic of Indonesia, the UN Conference on Trade and Development, the World Intellectual Property Organization. Shuningdek, sahnaga Indoneziya Turizm va kreativ iqtisodiyot vazirligining raqamli iqtisodiyot va kreativ mahsulotlar bo'yicha o'rinbosari Muhammad Neil El Himam janoblarini taklif qilamiz. We would also like to invite Mr. Muhammad Neil El Himam, Deputy for Digital Economy and Creative Product, Minister of Tourism and Creative Economy.
Congratulations to Uzbekistan for hosting a illustrious 4th edition of the WCCE and fostering the spirit of inclusively creative from the heart of Central Asia. To all speakers, moderators, creatives, and international steering committees, I thank you very much for enriching this conference with your knowledge, expertise, and true creative spirit. In this 3-day event, we have heard many important and valuable insights from honorable ministers, distinguished speakers, delegates, and participants that creative economy could become a potential solution for our current challenges and a new source of growth for the future. To unleash the potential of creative economy, we should think big and aim high. We should pursue innovative policies and enhance cooperation among various stakeholders. As we conclude, I'm inviting you, creatives of the world, to the 5th edition of World Conference on Creative Economy in Indonesia, as we continue to build the momentum of inclusively creative and collaboration on the global creative economy. Indonesia is looking forward to welcome you in the future. See you. Kata rahmat Uzbekistan. Terima kasih banyak Uzbekistan. Thank you very much. And please play the video.
Creative economy happens when the economy hinges on the value generated from our imagination and creative ideas.
The concept is now asserting its way to the global system, creating a new kind of global manners. Since 2018, WCCE has been echoing a common idea of inclusively creative to support the enhancement of the added value and competitiveness of creative and digital products and businesses by embracing all related stakeholders.
Every 2 years, the WCCE gathers academics, artists, entrepreneurs, and policymakers to share ideas, spark innovation, and shape the political guidelines for the future of this dynamic sector. In 2024, the WCCE expands its influence to Tashkent, Uzbekistan, bringing the same effort for mainstreaming the creative economy through inclusively creative, with a highlight on a shifted reality.
Thank you for your support and creativity. See you in the 5th edition of World Conference on Creative Economy, Indonesia.
Xonimlar va janoblar, Reuters Plus, Harper's Bazaar, El Uzbekistan, Uz News, Afisha Uz, We Project Media, Kun Uz kabi media hamkorlarimiz tufayli konferensiyamiz butun dunyoda tanildi va ko'plab muxlislarga ega bo'ldi. Hech bir tadbir bizning ko'ngillilarimizsiz to'liq bo'la olmaydi. Ular turli vazifalarda konferensiyani tashkil etishda yordam berishdi. Keling, ularga yana bir bor rahmat aytamiz. Thanks to our media partners Reuters Plus, Harper's Bazaar, El Uzbekistan, Uz News, Afisha Uz, the Project Media, Kun Uz. The conference was heard all over the world. And no event would be complete without our volunteers who in various positions helped to organize the conference. Let's say thank you to them once again. Shuningdek, ta'lim sohasidagi hamkorlarimiz British Council, Osiyo taraqqiyot banki instituti, Toshkentdagi Westminster xalqaro universiteti bilan hamkorligimiz uchun ham minnatdorlik bildiramiz. We also appreciate the cooperation with our educational partners, British Council, Asian Development Bank Institute, Westminster International University in Tashkent. Qadrli do'stlar, rasmiy hamkorlarimiz, sponsorlarimiz, homiylar Gem Space, Samsung, Blank Blue, Yandex, Zikr, Uz Telecom, Yoshlar kelajagimiz jamg'armasiga ham minnatdorlik bildiramiz. We are also pleased that the conference was supported by the general sponsors, Orient Group of Companies, Art Packaging, Pepsi, Interforum, Ariel and Uzum. Indoneziya Turizm va kreativ iqtisodiyot vazirligining raqamli iqtisodiyot va kreativ mahsulotlar bo'yicha o'rinbosari Muhammad Nil Enhimam janoblariga yana bir bor minnatdorlik bildiramiz. Endi esa Indoneziya delegatsiyasining Bumi Purnati truppasi bilan xoreografik chiqishni e'lon qilishni istagan bo'lardik. We would also like to announce the choreographic performance of the Indonesian delegation with the Bumi Purnati troupe.
wajalala he ha he tu jalla he hiding ala ala hiding ala hiding wajalala he ha
Inilah gerangan suatu madang mengharapkan syair terlalu indah membetuli jalan tempat bersinggah di sanalah etikat memperbetuli sudah. cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
bungong lenyokan bungong kembe bungong mangat be si bungong jumpa
bungong lenyokan bungong laye bungong mangat be bungong dahlia
bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
bungong lenyokan bungong kembe bungong mangat be si bungong jumpa
bungong lenyokan bungong laye bungong mangat be bungong dahlia
bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
bungong lenyokan bungong kembe bungong mangat be si bungong jumpa
bungong lenyokan bungong laye bungong mangat be bungong dahlia bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa bungong lenyokan bungong kembe bungong mangat be si bungong jumpa bungong lenyokan bungong laye bungong mangat be bungong dahlia bungong hai cidah bungong kenon tamang japaresa
Indonesia nyo tempat
ujung pantai Pulau Sumatera dilebarokan lam cafe Jino Hanale Amoka Jaya dilebarokan lam cafe Jino Hanale Amoka Jaya Indonesia no tempat
sentiang tolong di balai sana
Performance of the Indonesian delegation with the Bumi Purnati troupe. Indoneziya delegatsiyasining Bumi Purnati truppasi xoreografik chiqishini tomosha qildingiz. Guldiroz olqishlar. Sahnaga O'zbekiston Madaniyat va san'atni rivojlantirish jamg'armasi raisi birinchi o'rinbosari Elmurod Iqbolovich Najimov taklif etiladi. Elmurod Iqbolovich Najimov, first Deputy Chairman of the Foundation for the Development of Culture and Art of Uzbekistan, is invited to the stage.
Hurmatli mehmonlar, aziz do'stlar. O'zbekiston madaniyat va san'atni rivojlantirish jamg'armasi har biringizga ushbu loyihaga qo'shgan hissangiz uchun samimiy minnatdorchilik bildiradi. Sizning g'oyalaringiz, g'ayratingiz va shijoatingiz kreativ iqtisodiyot bo'yicha 4-chi Butunjahon anjumanini hayratlanarli darajada muvaffaqiyatga erishtirdi. Biz yangi hamkorlik munosabatlarini yo'lga qo'ydik. Yangi g'oyalarni vujudga keltirdik va bir-birlarimizni kelajak haqida dadil fikr mulohazalar qilishga ilhomlantirdik. Biz birgalikda kreativ iqtisodiyotning o'zgarishlar katalizatori, barqaror rivojlanishning harakatlantiruvchi kuchi hamda madaniyatlar va sarhadlar osha bizlarni bog'lovchi ko'prik vositasi sifatidagi imkoniyatlarni tadqiq etdik. Sizning zukkolingiz, zavq-shavqingiz va fidoyiligingiz bahs munozaralarimizga oydinlik kiritib, jahon kreativ hamjamiyatining evrilishlariga qodir salohiyati haqidagi tushunchamizni yanada boyitdi. Alohida minnatdorchilikni konferensiyani tashkil etishda O'zbekistonga ko'rsatgan ishonchi uchun Indoneziya Respublikasi hukumatiga izhor etaman. Sizning sharofatingiz bilan yana bir mamlakat, O'zbekiston yangi kreativ iqtisodiyot harakatiga qo'shildi. Va'da beramizki, mamlakatda boshlangan islohotlar to'xtab qolmaydi va uning natijalarini 2026-yilda sizlarga 5-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasida taqdim etamiz. Anjumanning bosh tashkilotchisi sifatida Madaniyat va san'atni rivojlantirish jamg'armasi oldida 2 ta vazifa turar edi. Birinchisi, O'zbekistonni xalqaro kreativ hamjamiyatga yangicha istiqbolda taqdim etish. Haqiqatan boy tarixga ega mamlakat bo'lmish O'zbekiston madaniy merosning eng muhim markazlaridan biri sifatida allaqachon butun dunyo bo'ylab shuhrat qozongan. Biroq biz mazkur anjuman orqali O'zbekistonni bundanda jozibador jihatlar, innovatsion g'oyalar va taraqqiy etgan ta'limga ega mamlakat va eng muhimi yangi va yorqin yutuqlarga tayyor istidodli yoshlari bor davlat sifatida namoyish etishni istadik. Ishonamanki, biz bu vazifani uddaladik. Ikkinchi maqsadimiz esa o'z mamlakatimizga kreativ industriyaning qudratini ko'rsatish, xorijda ular qay tarzda rivojlanayotgani va bu sohalar o'zaro qanday jahon shumul o'zgarishlarga turtki bo'layotganini namoyish etish hamda kreativ hamjamiyatimizni birlashtirishdan iborat bo'ldi. Kreativ industriya endi faqat musiqa, san'at va raqs bilan cheklanib qolmaydi. Kreativ sanoat sohalari hunarmandlar, rassomlar hamda axborot texnologiyalari vakillarini birlashtirgan iqtisodiyotning ulkan qatlamiga aylanadi. O'zbekiston ushbu vazifa doirasidagi nihoyatda muhim bo'lgan kuni kecha qabul qilingan kreativ iqtisodiyot to'g'risidagi qonunning qabul qilinishi bo'ldi. U mamlakatimizda kreativ iqtisodiyotni rivojlantirishni yanada qo'llab-quvvatlashga asos bo'lib xizmat qiladi. 4-chi Butunjahon kreativ iqtisodiyot konferensiyasini yakunlar ekanmiz. Men so'nggi bir necha kun ichida bosib o'tgan ajoyib sayohatimiz haqida sizlar bilan fikr yuritmoqchiman. Tan olamanki, g'oya loyihasini sinchkovlik bilan ishlab chiqishdan boshlab to ko'ndalang turgan vazifalarni bajarishga bo'lgan yo'l boshqa joylarda bo'lgani kabi oson kechmadi. Jamoa uchun bu nafaqat ko'plab kashfiyotlar, balki murakkabliklar davri ham bo'ldi. Biroq men o'ylaymanki, biz vazifalarni uddasidan chiqdik. Ko'z o'ngingizdagi va eshitib turganlaringizning barchasi bir necha oy davomida tadbirga taraddud ko'rgan yuzlab kishilarning jamoaviy mehnat mahsulidir. O'tgan 3 kun bunyodkorlik, hamkorlik va ilg'or peshqadamlikning tantanasi bo'ldi. Bu 200 nafar muvofiqlashtiruvchi va xodimlar, 12 ming ro'yxatdan o'tgan qatnashchi, 10 ming kvadrat metr maydon 320 ta volontyorlar, 130 ta ma'ruzachi, 75 ta ishtirokchi hamda 100 dan ortiq turli ommaviy axborot vositalari nashrlari vakillarining sharofati bilan ro'yobga chiqdi. Anjumanda jumladan 50 dan ortiq xorijiy ommaviy axborot vositalari ishtirok etib, ushbu voqeani yorituvchi yetakchi nashrlar orasida Harper's Bazaar, Reuters va Wash, Arab News hamda Forbes kabi nufuzli jahon ommaviy axborot vositalari namoyandalari hozir bo'ldi. So'zimni yakunlab sizlarni doimo aloqada qolishlaringizni, tajribangiz bilan baham ko'rishib, ushbu maskanda boshlangan yaqin hamkorlik rishtalarini davom ettirishingizni chorlab qolaman. Yodingizda tutingki, kreativ iqtisodiyot hamkorlik sharofati ila gullab yashnaydi. Do'stlar, shu yerda hozir bo'lganingiz, bildirgan ishonchingiz va ijodkorlik kuchiga inonganingiz uchun yana bir bor tashakkur. Assalomu alaykum.
Aziz mehmonlar, anjuman ishtirokchilari, kreativ iqtisodiyot bo'yicha 4-chi Butunjahon anjumanining yopilish marosimi o'z nihoyasiga yetdi. This concludes our closing ceremony of the 4th World Conference of the Creative Economy. Sizlarni konferensiyadan keyingi kechaga Mahalla Square maydoniga Sublimation jamoasidan DJ Joseph Tumari va Doppa Twins ishtirokidagi DJ set uchun taklif qilamiz. We invite you to the after party of the conference at Mahalla Square for a DJ set featuring DJs from the Sublimation Collective, Joseph Tumari and Doppa Twins. Xonimlar va janoblar, barchangizga omad tilaymiz. Ishtirokingiz uchun rahmat.